Ciao ragazzi! Let's talk about a small word that we Italians use a lot in real life, but it often confuses non-native speakers. La parola cioè. Now, many Italian learners notice cioè in everyday conversations and, for example, in movies, series, or even podcasts, but it's quite hard to grasp its real meaning because it seems to be used in very different situations. For example, Italians often say cioè when correcting what they just said, or when explaining something more clearly, or when they want to add more precise information. And of course, students get confused because they are not really sure what cioè means. Now, this is so confusing because in English, there isn't one single everyday word that works exactly like cioè. Depending on the situation, in English, you may use expressions like, for example, that is, or in other words, or I mean. But in Italian, cioè, only one word, solo una parola, la parola cioè, can cover all those situations. Soltanto cioè, just cioè. So the key to understanding this type of Italian words is always the same, understanding the function rather than trying to translate it to a specific English expression. This is something that I always stress when covering these kind of peculiar Italian words in my videos. If you want to really learn them, you need to understand their function more than their translation. So in Italian, cioè is used when you want to clarify, explain better, or correct what you just said. So the best way to think of cioè is to think of it as a way to express your point better. Now, let me show you what I mean in real life with real life examples. Let's take the first type of situation, la situazione numero uno, clarifying a statement. For example, you may want to say, I arrived 3 days ago. That is on Wednesday. So that in Italian would be so, sono arrivato 3 giorni fa. I arrived 3 days ago. Cioè mercoledì. So here we are using cioè because we are giving the same information you arrived 3 days ago, but in a more precise way. That day was mercoledì. Sono arrivato 3 giorni fa, cioè mercoledì. Situazione numero 2. Explaining yourself better or explaining something better. For example, if you want to say something that you really like, and you say, I really like these type of things, and then you want to express more clearly, more precisely, like kind of an example of those things, cioè works perfectly for that. Per esempio, mi piacciono molto I dolci italiani. Here we are making a generic statement. But then we want to get more specific about what type of Italian desserts you like. Cioè tiramisù, cannoli, panna cotta. So here we are not clarifying the same information, we are expanding the idea with examples. Like, for example, think of it like a bullet list. So this try is perfect when you want to get more specific. You have a general category and then you express specific examples of that category. Dolci italiani, cioè tiramisù, panna cotta, cannoli, gelato, ho tantissimi esempi per questo. Ok, situazione numero 3. We use cioè when wanting to correct a statement. So, for example, let's suppose we want to say, well, see you tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see each other tomorrow. Oh, well, actually, the day after tomorrow. So you're correcting yourself because the first thing that you said was not correct. We use cioè for that. So that in Italian would be ci vediamo domani. So see you tomorrow, literally, we will see each other tomorrow. Cioè, dopodomani. Well, actually, the day after tomorrow. So you just corrected what you said. We use cioè for that to correct a wrong statement that we just made. Okay, now I'm really curious. Have you ever noticed Italians using cioè in conversations or videos or movies? And which one of these uses, or was it just a word that puzzled you and you weren't able to figure it out? Let me know in the comments. Now, going back to these examples, my point today is this. When you hear cioè, think of clarification, explanation, or reformulation. And this can also be used in question form. So if you want another person to clarify what they just said, you can ask cioè. For example, let's suppose someone tells you, ho una proposta da farti. I have a proposal for you. And you would like to know what you're talking about. Cioè? Cioè? That's a way to ask to clarify on their statement. Now, if you want to review this word and practice it with more examples like the ones that we're seeing today, as always, I've prepared a PDF for you for this lesson. In the PDF, I've included a simple recap of how cioè works in real life in Italian, plus extra example sentences to help you remember it better and see it more in action. If you want to download the PDF, as always, you will find the link in the description below this video, and it's free. Now, something else that I want to share with you is this. In real spoken Italian, cioè is also very often used as a filler word. So sometimes we may say cioè, not because we want to explain something more precisely, but simply because we're thinking while speaking. So to buy some extra time. Per esempio, you may hear a phrase like this. Let me say this in Italian first. Era una situazione un po', cioè, complicata. Era una situazione un po', cioè, complicata. So it was a situation a bit, complicated. That's where cioè gets translated to in English. In this case, cioè is more like, it works like a hesitation word, very similar to the usage in spoken English. So we're using it to buy time while speaking, to find a way to express ourselves more correctly. So here's what I want you to remember. Cioè is a very common Italian word that's used to clarify or reformulate what you just said, but can also be used as a filler word. And questo è tutto per oggi. I will see you in the next video. Ciao da Valentina.